Elena Duart's whisper barely left her lips. Just 1 minute. Let my back rest for 1 minute. Her hands trembled against the freezing marble floor as she knelt behind the toilet in her son's mansion, scrubbing, wiping, pushing through pain her aging body was never meant to endure. Every bend sent a brittle crack through her bones, like dry twigs snapping under weight, and strapped her aching back were her twin grandchildren, wriggling, crying, their tiny bodies pressing down until her spine felt ready to break. The sharp sting of bleach filled her nose. Sweat trickled down her temples, mixing with the chemical smell and the quiet shame she swallowed piece by piece. But she kept cleaning. She always kept cleaning. She couldn't stop. Not if she wanted to stay. Not if she wanted her son to believe everything in his home was peaceful. Maya, her daughter-in-law, leaned against a bathroom doorway, arms crossed, gaze cold and clinical. If you want to live here, Elena, then prove you're useful, she said, each word slicing deeper than the last. Elena lowered her head and scrubbed harder, her dignity slipping away tile by tile. She thought of Daniel, her only son, of how she never wanted to burden him. That was why she endured, why she stayed silent. But that silence shattered the moment the bathroom door swung open. Daniel had come home early. His voice echoed through the hallway, shocked, disbelieving, when he saw his mother on her knees with 2 crying infants strapped to her fragile back. Maya didn't flinch. She simply straightened her blouse, her smile tight, her voice dripping with practiced sweetness. "Oh, I was just about to help her," she said. But Daniel wasn't looking at her anymore. He rushed to Elena's side. She tried to stand, but her knees buckled. He caught her hands, hand that felt too light, too breakable. "Mom, did you want to do this?" he whispered. Elena opened her mouth, but only air escaped. She couldn't tell him, not without tearing his marriage apart. Maya stepped forward, voice honeyed but eyes sharp. She likes staying busy, Daniel. It makes her feel useful. But Daniel finally saw it. The tension in Maya's jaw, the irritation she hid, the hollowness in her smile whenever she looked at Elena. Small things he had ignored until now. Everything looked different in that bleach-stained bathroom. He remembered the nights he found Elena silent on the couch, legs swollen, insisting she was fine. He remembered believing her, because believing her was easier. But now he saw the truth. This wasn't help. This wasn't kindness. This was servitude. Later, in the bedroom, Elena sat on the edge of the bed while the twins slept in a makeshift crib. Silence filled the room, not peaceful silence, but the kind that carries pain. Daniel's footsteps approached. His voice, usually warm, was now steel. Elena stepped into the hallway and saw him staring at Maya with anger and disbelief. Maya stood with icy indifference, chin lifted. "Enough games," Daniel said. "Tell me the truth. How long has my mother been doing all of this?" Maya scoffed. "Asking? Daniel, she insists on helping. She wants to feel valuable." But Daniel wasn't looking at her. He was looking at his mother. "Mom, please," he said, voice cracking. "I need to know." Elena's chest tightened. She had protected him for so long, protected the fragile piece of his home, even when it cost her everything. She looked into his eyes, the same eyes that once belonged to the little boy who used to slip his hand into hers on long walks home. And something inside her broke. "Daniel," she whispered, voice trembling. "I don't want to worry you." Maya stiffened, panic flickering behind her mask. Daniel's breath hitched. Elena stared at her worn, trembling hands. "I stayed quiet because I didn't want to be a burden. I just wanted to keep your family together, even if it cost me." And in that moment, Daniel realized the deepest, most painful truth. His mother had protected him from everything except her own suffering. His jaw tightened, not in anger at her, but at himself. He turned toward Maya, but she rushed ahead, her voice sharp. "She's exaggerating. Older people twist things, forget things," she never complained. "That's the problem," Daniel said quietly. Maya rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. I gave her purpose. I let her help." "She wasn't helping," he cut in. "She was breaking. And you watched." Silence thickened. Maya's mask cracked. Daniel stepped in front of Elena protectively. "This ends now," he said. "All of it." A fault line split through their marriage, silent, deep, irreversible. Maya's expression twisted into contempt. "You think you're a hero? She's done chores all her life. Why should it be different here?" Daniel's voice hardened. "Because this is her home, not a place to exploit her." Maya laughed coldly. "She doesn't belong here. She's slow, clumsy. My friends laugh whenever she entered the room. I had to carry the embarrassment you refused to see." Daniel felt something snap inside him. Elena flinched, wounds reopening. He leaned forward, voice low. "You didn't just mistreat her. You dehumanized her." Maya faltered, fear flickering for the first time. Daniel turned to his mother. "Mom, you should have told me." Elena's eyes softened painfully. "You had your life, Daniel. I didn't want to take that from you." And for the first time in his life, Daniel understood. Her silence wasn't weakness. It was love, dangerous, sacrificial love. Daniel guided his mother gently to the living room couch, placing a blanket over her legs as she sank into the cushions. She looked so small, so tired, as if the weight of years had finally settled on her all at once. He sat beside her, running a hand through his hair, anger mixing with guilt in a storm he could barely contain. Maya stood across the room with her arms tightly folded, tapping her foot, her voice icy. "So what now? You're going to blame me for everything? Your mother wants attention." "Maya," Daniel said without raising his voice. But something in his tone halted her completely. He wasn't the gentle, forgiving husband she manipulated for years. This time he was unshakable. "I'm moving Mom out of this room," he said. "From now on, she'll have the master bedroom. She'll rest. She'll heal. And she won't lift a single finger." Maya scoffed, disbelief twisting her features. "You're letting her take my place? In my house?" Daniel blinked slowly. "This isn't your house. It's ours. And you've forgotten that." She stepped forward. "Oh, don't act self-righteous. You work late every day. You never see what she's really like. How she slows everything down. How she—" Daniel raised a hand. "My mother raised me alone. Worked 3 jobs. Fed me before she fed herself. She's the reason this house even exists. So if she slows down, it's because she's earned the right to." Maya stared at him as if he were speaking a foreign language. "And if you can't respect her," Daniel added, "you can't stay here." A stunned silence fell. It was the first time he'd ever drawn a line she couldn't step over. "You'd choose her over me?" she whispered. Daniel looked back at his mother. Her hunched shoulders, her trembling hands, her quiet, tired eyes. "Yes," he said simply, without hesitation. Maya's face hardened. Years of entitlement twisted into one bitter expression. "Fine," she snapped. "Enjoy your precious mother. Let's see how long you survive without me doing everything around here." She grabbed her purse and stormed toward the door, heels clicking sharply across the floor. But halfway out, something unexpected happened. The twins woke up. Both babies began crying loud, aching wails that echoed down the hall. Maya froze. She didn't look back. She didn't soothe them. She didn't even hesitate. She walked straight out the door. Daniel stared after her, disbelief spreading like a bruise. For a moment, he couldn't speak. And then a soft, fragile voice broke through the silence. "Daniel, go to them," Elena whispered. He rushed to the nursery, gathering both children into his arms. They pressed their tiny faces into his chest, hiccuping with sobs. He held them close, heart tight. Slowly, Elena stood behind him, her hand resting on his shoulder. "I'm sorry," she murmured. "For what?" he whispered. "For coming here. For causing trouble. For ruining your marriage." Daniel turned to face her. "Mom," he said, voice shaking. "You didn't ruin anything. You opened my eyes." Tears welled in Elena's eyes, shimmering in the nursery light. "I didn't want to be a burden." "You never were," he said firmly. "You were the only one holding us together." He hugged her gently, mindful of her pain. She closed her eyes, soaking in a comfort she hadn't felt in years. That night, after putting the babies to sleep, Daniel prepared the master bedroom for his mother. Clean sheets, soft pillows, a warm lamp by the bedside. He helped her into bed, tucking the blanket around her. "You deserve rest, Mom," he said softly. "Starting now." Elena's voice trembled. "I don't know how to thank you." "You don't need to," he said. "You raised me. Now it's my turn." For once, Elena allowed herself to let go. She lay back, exhaling deeply, feeling the weight on her heart finally ease. Daniel sat beside her. "There will be changes," he said. "Hard ones. But you're not facing them alone." Elena nodded, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. Daniel smiled faintly. "And I'm sorry I didn't see sooner." She reached for his hand. "You see now. That's enough." For the first time in months, her eyelids grew heavy, not with exhaustion, but with peace. As she drifted to sleep, Daniel stood by the doorway watching her. His mother, his strength, the woman who had given up everything so he could have a better life. Tomorrow, he would call a lawyer. Tomorrow, he would file for full custody. Tomorrow, he would rebuild a home filled with respect, safety, and love. But tonight, he finally chose the person who had always chosen him.